Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Forget We Said That. My name is Relytan.
I'm Alyssa Riot.
And I'm Legion Lion.
And knock, knock, knock at the farmhouse door. We've won a gift from the church. Today we're talking about the movie LongLegs. I guess it's kind of a spooky season kind of deal. We did watch Late Night with the Devil, and now we're gonna be watching, or I guess we have already watched the next movie, LongLegs, and I guess, I don't know, I guess we can kind of get started on some general thoughts. I don't know if there's anything else any of you wanted to talk about before we get into our kind of general thoughts of the movie, or did you have any meta thoughts about anything else surrounding the movie? Anything that kind of made us think about watching this? I don't know what the context is exactly for what made us kind of jump into this one.
Well, for me, it was the trailer.
Okay.
I know Alyssa had mentioned like LongLegs and we should watch it, and I heard like a little bit about it, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then like one night when we were doing a previous movie lord / movie club thing, we watched the trailer together, and it's like probably like the first time in a long time I've been really disturbed by a trailer. Like the editors for that like really did like an amazing job, because I was like hooked.
Okay.
Like everything from like the sound effects to like the score. And I didn't even know Nicolas Cage was gonna be in this movie. Like I had no idea. It's just like some creepy like tall dude like serial killing people. So that's what like really like drew me into this movie, was probably that trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that, and like there were clips of it on TikTok, like sound bites or whatever, and I was like, "What is this?" And Ebony, she actually went and saw it with her stepmom and everybody, and she was like, "You got to see it. It's so weird." And I kind of like put it off until watching it with you guys, and I'm glad I did. And then I rewatched it again tonight, and I was just like, it's so bizarre. And it's not, even watching the trailer, it's not what you think it's going to be, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, they kind of pulled off kind of an interesting little, I guess, subversion of some of the tropes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I won't get too into it, but like, yeah, it definitely seemed like it could have been a slightly different movie. But they did a pretty good job of, yeah, I would say like guerrilla marketing. I mean, yeah, we were so impressed by the trailer and all the TikToks.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I will say, I mean, and not to get right into it, but I did kind of like it on a second watch a little better. I will say that. So, I mean, it definitely has.
Yeah.
It has I guess to its credit, it has a little bit of like kind of a rewatch value to it, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I think generally, I think I thought it was all right. There's like a little bit of problems I have with like the ending and then how the story goes. Just in general, I just feel like there's a little bit of mysticism and also just grounded in like a real serial like killer case type feel, but it never really like leans either way, and I kind of wanted it to like lean heavily into both. So in that sense, I feel like a little unfulfilled on that part, but overall, I think I liked the performances, I like the story, and Osgood Perkins, the director / writer, he always knows how to like bring like great shots and like cinematography to his movies. So at the very least, I liked looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and yeah, I think we were mentioning before. I mean, I think we all might agree, and we'll get to it later. But I think we all might agree on like the ending or whatever. But we'll get to that. We were talking earlier, me and Legion at least, about Maika Monroe.
Oh, yeah.
I guess Legion knows a little bit better, but I was telling him that when I was looking up on IMDb, you might have noticed it too, Alyssa. She's at the premiere with Nic Cage, and she's like wearing like this leather bra. She's like,
Was
it's like,
she?
yeah, it's like such a, yeah. If you just go on IMDb, and Legion was saying that, well, you can say it like that's her personality is a little more outgoing than the movie.
If you guys like horror movies, you probably saw It Follows. She is the lead star in that movie. And contrary to the character she plays, which are very like muted, somewhat like maybe like mentally dissociated characters, she's very like enthusiastic and outspoken in her real life. So it's kind of funny that she kind of like plays a muted character for most of her roles, and it's like mostly horror stuff. But she's very like well spoken, and like she does interviews great, and she's always having fun like on set. So it's kind of funny like the juxtaposition to who she plays versus who she is.
Kind of reminds
Now I see the picture. That's a trip. Stark contrast from what she plays.
Yeah.
How crazy.
I was getting like Dakota Johnson vibes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who I love, even though she's in awful movies. She's hilarious.
Yeah, she's not doing good there.
Yeah.
But anyway, LongLegs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a trip. You know, she says too that she didn't even see or meet Nicolas Cage until the scene where she actually meets him in the movie. Like, the director kept her and him apart the entire time. That way her reaction was genuine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, she met him at the very beginning. Wait, no, I'm just kidding. That was the...
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Actually, speaking onto that, I guess we can start this off with, like, marketing. So I wasn't, like, too much into the marketing of this. I just tried to keep my distance after I saw the trailer. But apparently, like, Neon, the production company who sent this out, heavily marketed this. From TikToks to, like, billboards. There was, like, a billboard going around in California with, like, a call number. And if you called it, you would get Nicolas Cage's voice on the line singing happy birthday to you. He calls you your little angel. And that's what I just called before we started that podcast to confirm it still worked.
Ew.
I'll link it in chat, but I thought that was like a cool detail. Also, like, the production company set up a birthaymurder.net, which is basically going through the character of Nicolas Cage LongLegs, like all his murders he had done. So you could have looked through that as well. But apparently this was like heavily marketed. So for some people, I guess it was like too much because in the marketing, it was one of those, the scariest movie of the century or the last 10 years. I guarantee if I was like following this movie closely, that would have definitely overhyped me, and then like probably wouldn't have like met the expectation when we actually watched it. But the marketing was like super heavy around this movie.
That's pretty cool.
That is interesting. It's almost, I mean, I remember, this is going way back in the day, but like for Halo 2 with ilovebees.com, that was like one of my the first times I saw like that kind of weird ARG, like guerrilla marketing kind of thing. And that was definitely the first of its kind, in my opinion. But like, yeah, anymore, it might be a little played out in some ways.
Yeah, but whenever, like, because every movie claims it's like the scariest movie in the last 10 years, right?
They got overhyped
it never
themselves.
really is.
It was definitely creepy, but I wasn't like, like The Conjuring scared. You know?
There was no like, there was like zero jump scares, which I guess is actually kind of a good point.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
It's just odd.
Like the jumpiest scene was like the doll waking up.
That
maybe
thing.
Yeah,
maybe. I would say like maybe that's like the scariest scene.
Yeah, the very
like,
beginning when Nick like jumps into frame downwards.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny. I like that.
That's true. So the inspiration from this movie, according to Osgood Perkins, is on the JonBene't Ramsey murder. I don't know if you know that, but that was like a murder that happened in 2018. The suspects were never found, or the suspect was never found. They found like blood on some of her clothes, but they thought it matched the parents, but it didn't.
That must have been an
There
update.
was a ransom note like that was encoded, similar to the Zodiac Killer and the movie LongLegs. They had like some weird coding, like SBTC. People like had theories about what that acronym meant. Like sometimes it related to the dad's work. People think it relates to Saved by the Cross. And like an interesting like thing about the ransom note from that murder was like the demand was like $1,800, I think. And in the Bible that references Psalm 118, or at least the theory is that like from Psalm 118 it's "Oh thanks to the Lord for He is good," which if you watch LongLegs, there's a lot of like religious connotations to like God and the devil and things like that. So that was like the original like inspiration, according to Osgood Perkins, was those murders back in the day, because the killer was never found, but there's like heavy religious like undertones somehow related to that.
Yeah, JonBene't was killed in the 90s, wasn't she, or the 80s?
Yeah,
90s.
There might have been an update in 2018, but the murder happened in like 96, it looks like to me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Didn't
they had
stuff around that.
Didn't they do a documentary too not that long ago, and they were interviewing the dad and the brother, and they're both like hella weird still?
Yeah, there's a lot surrounding that case, and it doesn't surprise me that there's perhaps some that does track for like inspiration, because there's so much mystery surrounding it.
Yeah, definitely the religious aspect too, and then the focus on the little girl. You're like, ugh. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I read too that the director, that his dad was the original Norman Bates.
Yeah, Norman Bates. Yeah, from Psycho.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, dang, this guy's got all kinds of inspiration.
That's some movie Hollywood cred right there.
I know. That's really cool.
Yeah, the original 1960s Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good movie too.
Yeah.
The theory for the title, if I'm not mistaking, the inside theory among fans is that the LongLegs derives from how the children perceive him, that he towers over them, and that's where the movie title comes from.
Okay.
I looked up interviews with Osgood Perkins. He just said it sounded good. It sounded good, and that was the vibe for the movie, so he just went for it. And you know what? I respect it. Not everything has to have super deep meaning.
Yeah.
So
that's what Ebony said.
LongLegs.
Yeah, I was like, I can't find why it's called LongLegs. She's like, oh, he just liked the way it sounded. I was like, oh, well.
I think I think some people's minds might say Daddy Longlegs in their head, and that's a creepy thing to say about Nic Cage's character.
I mean, yeah, and then he says it too, in the begining, I've got my long legs on, and I was like, what does that mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I do have another animal theory, but I'll save that for later. But yeah, y'all might have picked up on it too. But yeah, we'll cover that later.
Okay. So in Act 1, we begin with the T-Rex song quote, right?
Yeah.
Get it on. You're slim and you're weak. You've got teeth of a hydra upon you. You're dirty, sweet, and you're my girl.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to look into it. Apparently, it's another thing. It's just a vibe.
Well, there's a lot of music references, because when he's in
Perkins said it just matched the vibe. There's no deeper meaning. Although I do have a deeper meaning theory about it. But using T-Rex, he loves the era of glam rock, and I guess to a certain extent you can argue that Nic Cage's character kind of looks like a washed up glam rocker from that era.
He does.
But he just Oswald just said he just liked the vibe of the song. It just matched what he was trying to do with the movie, which again I respect. Not everything has to have deep meaning.
Did you ever confirm that was Slash in his room on a poster?
It's the main guitarist for T-Rex.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It hella looked like Slash. I was wondering that.
It does, especially with the top hat and the long hair.
Yeah, which that's basically. I mean, we were on the right track. I mean, okay, yeah, because it is. There's a lot of classic rock themes here. Because when they're driving and when he has the music playing there, and then I don't think it's anything too concrete, but it's definitely kind of a bit of a theme. Oh yeah, there's another one I'll get to later as well. But yeah, definitely some of that as it kind of fades into the weird aspect ratio, and we're back in the 70s.
Yeah, and then we meet which we didn't know at the time. Well, I didn't know. It was a young Lee Harker, and the cool thing about it is that when she goes out to actually see who's in the car that pulls up into her house, you can see a shadow inside the driver's seat, which later you find out it's her doll. It's the thing that LongLegs brought, and you got a little bit of Nic Cage's the look of Nic Cage's character. He's very tall, relatively to the little girl. He's all pale. Even his clothes are a white. He talks about it's her birthday and it's coming up, which means possibly that she was a victim or about to be one.
Well, she was, yeah.
And you get a little jump scare of when Nic Cage was about to get his she was holding up the camera and she was about to take a picture, and then it shuts off to the title screen.
The late title card. And that's when we get a better aspect ratio. And I know we're already back in that's when we jump to the 90s where they have to give us the sign because we have Bill Clinton's face up there.
Yeah, it's funny how much horror movies or just movie in general have the backdrop of who was president at that day. Usually it's Nixon because everyone I don't know just likes using him.
Yeah, if it's in the 70s, you got
discourse,
Nixon,
right?
Yeah.
But this time it's just Clinton. I don't know. It has no bearing on the story.
I know.
Usually sometimes
it's
they
so
mention
shorthand.
The economy or some
it's
shit.
It's cinematic shorthand. Which I understood for the FBI office, but then later they went into a house and it was
I was like, we never had that.
Yeah, I never had one of those.
Yeah, it was pictures of presidents in like their house.
Yeah,
I know.
That's so weird.
Some people do.
I know he's not Kim Jong-il. Like, we don't have to have this up here.
You're required.
This is an alternate universe.
President, you're required to have a picture.
You would have gotten the secret police would have taken you away.
Yep.
We open up to adult Lee Harker, played by Maika Monroe, right?
Yep.
And they're investigating the case. It's not the LongLegs case, but I thought like one of the cool things is when they were getting debriefed about what to look for and the kind of standard operating procedure is that Lee like constantly stares at her partner because you don't know it yet, but she's psychic and she like senses that he will meet like an untimely death. That's why he just keeps staring at her. Doesn't know when, but she just keeps staring at him like something's gonna happen to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And her and her partner like drive up to houses. They're saying they're looking for suspects. Lee just already knows which house it is. She just says, that's the house. Let's call for backup.
I know we commented on it when we were watching it, but it's a really cool. I do like the shot because it's very liminal, neighborhood suburbia shot. Very empty. Nothing's happening, and it does, even the air seems super still, and I thought that was really good touch. And the way she just stares at the house, she just looks at it, and she's like, that's it. And I thought. And it was later I think the scene gets kind of mirrored, but yeah, like the way that he's like, you stay here or I'll go talk, and he comes back and says, that kid smelled like narcotics. And
I know, I was like, what is that? Narcotics?
I mean, in the 90s,
he probably meant weed
or whatever. And she's like, that's it. And I mean, not to jump ahead too much, but like once you get in there, it's like full of plastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was cool.
The partner like goes on the hunt. She's like, "Hey, we're like interviewing us," and then boom, he just gets
she wanted to call back
right in the head.
Should have done it. He lived to regret that.
Should have called back up. But yeah, shout out to Lee's character in the movie. Despite like her like mental disassociation with like people and social interactions, she has balls of steel. Immediately, she draws her gun, like sticks close to the wall, and is like ready to charge in.
Having a full panic attack, but still able to perform her job.
She holds her shit, and maybe she should call for backup, but she just charges in like ready to like arrest whatever suspect is in there.
Yeah, it's a little weird that the guy decided to shoot one guy, but then like give up easily to the other agent.
Yeah,
there might have been like a
he
reason.
Didn't like grab like cleaning supplies to maybe cover it up, or like has like a suitcase ready to like just run the fuck out. He's just like.
Yeah,
it's just me.
I ain't gonna run. Yeah, which I mean, I don't know if you can say like unrealistic, but like I kind of get it cinematically. Like, yeah, and in some ways, someone crazy enough to do that might be very well irrational enough just to basically give up after that. Yeah, they just wanted to take one with them, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah, or he knew he wasn't supposed to kill her.
Oh yeah,
maybe because that's kind of the deal,
Yeah, he might have. Yeah, that's a good thought. Like he might have had a late night with the devil himself. Wait, wrong
yeah, because she's all, "Don't move," and he goes, "I won't." Like,
that's a good thought. I like that. Theory. Good theory.
See, I studied
she
this
studied
time.
Up all night.
By the way, her partner has an amazing jawline.
I was just gonna say,
like how good his jawline.
I was just gonna say when she was staring at him in the meeting, and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm just staring at your jaw."
The whole time. He's like,
"Yeah."
Yep. What do we call him? John FBI?
Yeah, John CIA.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Anyway, like Lee surviving the incident has the FBI like pretty much test her. We joked about it while we were watching it, like that she was going through the Blade Runner like Turing test to see if she's human.
Ooh,
but that was literally just a psychic test to see like how latent her psychic powers were. And it's funny because like they say a whole bunch of like what would be like kind of like Russian trigger words, but they're all relevant to the movie. They say camera, table legs, mother, father, piano, like time, like all random words, but all come back later in the movie.
Yeah.
They later like ask her to predict numbers, and like they pretty much determined that she's only like 50% psychic.
Yeah, later.
Like, she can't get the whole picture.
Her boss later is like, you did 50%, or he's like, you tore that number test up. She's like, only half of them.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess you're half psychic.
Better than not at all.
Right.
And then that was
better than not at all.
That was a very cool another liminal kind of shot. I don't know if you call it liminal, but like it was a cool shot of like just those slides going off and on, and her sitting right in front of it. And it was a very nondescript room. Like definitely, I guess it was supposed to be in the FBI office, but man, that could have been anywhere. That could have been any like creepy room, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of liked how that was, and they had good like colors and stuff. It kept the eye kind of like interested, because each slide was kind of a different shape and a different color and a different like, I don't know. And yeah, it was a pretty cool way of showing the audience, you know, what they're trying to do, how they're trying to test her.
Yeah, I wonder if the FBI actually does that, though.
I mean,
they actually test people if they're psychic or not.
They probably have, but I doubt it's that regular.
They do.
not like psychic, but like just like, well, definitely that whole psychological thing of like, tell me the first word. I think that's definitely useful in some ways, not just psychic tests.
They do psych evals, like especially like because she had seen her partner shot and killed in front of her, like. After something like that, you would be put on like leave, and then you would have to do like a psych eval. Like you have to take some time before going back to work, so they can make sure that you're like mentally okay after something like that.
Right, but this move they don't. They're immediately like, hey, we have a case that hasn't been really solved.
Yeah, well,
they were like, hey, you got 8 questions right, so I think you're okay.
Help us catch Nic Cage now.
Everybody else got
immediately
0.
after your partner just got shot in the head.
Yeah.
And then
you're halfway there.
I do like her boss. What's his name? Oh man, now I I do like him because he brings up the Mariners. There's always baseball every time we watch a horror movie.
Every time.
And I don't know what that's supposed to really, if it's referencing anything at all. I don't know if anything happened in like that year. I know in 2001, Mariners went on a huge winning streak, and they won the most games that I think any baseball game or any baseball team has ever won in a season. But then they got knocked out in the first round by the Yankees.
I was going to say that, but you said it first.
I know. Alyssa was right on my
Actually, Alyssa was there.
Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue.
Is his name Carter? Is that his name? Carter?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. It came to me eventually. Yeah. So, but that was in like 2001. So I don't know.
It's too in the future for that movie.
Are we just trying to place them? Are they in Seattle? I can't remember where we're supposed to be.
They're in Oregon.
Oregon. Okay. Yeah. So pretty close. I guess that was there to give us a geography of where we were, in case we didn't already know. Which I guess I wouldn't have known.
I googled it.
Oh, look at you! I mean, like I say, they were definitely in the Northwest. But I'm just saying, without that clue, I don't know where they would be.
Right.
Right.
It's just nondescript
rainy,
America.
Right? It's always cold. Like it's cold. It's rainy. People wearing jackets. So it must be somewhere north.
We know Bush's president, or not Bush. We know Clinton's president, and we know that we're near Seattle. That's our context.
All right. So like we get a little bit of a down low about the victimology of LongLegs, right? That every family had a daughter that was close to having their 14th birthday on any given month.
It was more like on the 14th. I don't know if it was the 14th birthday. Was it the 14th birthday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was on the 14th, but it was like their ninth birthday.
Oh, okay.
Which will come in play later as we learn about like when Lee researches it more. That the latest case was the only time where the father actually called out to the police. I mean, he was kind of like weird about it. He was kind of like in this kind of trance type thing over the phone, talking about how his daughter wasn't his and how he had to like kill her in her sleep and stuff like that. And how every victim, their families seemed fairly normal, right? You know, churchgoers, bake sales and all that, up until the point where they snapped. Usually it was like the dad killing the rest of the family. But I thought that was like still like a reference to the Ramsey case as well. But yeah, we learned that like LongLegs leaves no trace. That if like he didn't leave any sort of like note, like that cipher note that there would be like no connection and it just might be like random acts of violence, and that the case has gone cold, and that's why they have to use Lee, because her latent psychic powers would probably help with this cold case.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, because it's like they find the letters, but they know that nobody like that has been to the house, and they need a cipher, and they got the perfect FBI agent. She's like psychic, and also she's like really good at decoding ciphers. So, I guess that's why they took her off leave so quickly. They're
like you've had enough time.
Yeah.
You had the whole afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have a good dinner. Have a snack, and
it's the 90s.
Yeah. She did have a nap later in that room. She's like, she's just sleeping.
Oh yeah, on the floor.
She has multiple naps in this movie. I don't.
True.
I don't think this girl has
a lot of
legit sleep schedule.
Sleeping.
Yeah, long sleep.
Yeah.
long sleep. Yeah.
One of the funny things though, like it's once you watch it a second time, it's like so like you can tell like something bad's gonna happen. But what's it called? Her boss, Carter, mentions that his daughter's birthday is coming up.
Oh God!
And like after he told Lee like the victimology and the pattern, like it never occurs to him that this shit might be bad.
I had the same thought, but they did a good job of burying it, because really when we were watching it, I never thought about it. Even though there was, I mean, he said it. Maybe it's possibly I just missed him saying it.
Then later, like he invites the agent to his house, right, to meet the family, and she mentions it. Hey, you coming to my birthday party?
Right. Well,
you come to my birthday
first, she's like, "What?" Carter's like, "Come meet my family." And she's like, "Do I have to?" And he just says yes. And and then I did think it was interesting. I don't know what this has to do. Well, this obviously did have something to do with it, but I did like the touch of that of the headless trophy in the little girl's room.
Oh yeah.
And how and then Lee's like, "Oh, that's my job," or something.
Oh yeah, to find lost things.
Yeah, to find lost things. And the fact, and then when the little girl mentions veals, the veal, and how they like raise veal, and like how they were able to grow up a little bit or something before they're slaughtered, which definitely has a lot to do with the movie. And I thought that was an interesting touch writing wise. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, like obviously I know what they're referencing, but like later they do kind of go into like, who's allowed to grow up, and I think that's an interesting like parallel there.
Yeah, one of the things I love about that scene is that like the character Lee, and like I feel like meeting like family members of like your friends is always kind of that awkward. I don't know.
Oh, definitely.
The first time you step into like your friend's house, just kind of see what his house is like and how everything's set up. It's definitely like kind of like an awkward, like I don't know what to do.
Right.
Like, where should I stand?
Well, it's when it's like your boss.
How should I talk to these grown adults? Right.
Yeah.
I felt like that good awkward like tension that Lee has. Like I was like, oh my God, that's so me. Like
she didn't even want to go in the first place.
Every time they asked her questions, she was quiet. I was like, say something.
Yeah.
I know.
I was like, yeah, I get that, girl. I get that.
Yeah, and the way that, because the way she says that she wants to be she wanted to be an actress as a kid, but that and then the little girl's like, that messes kids up, which I thought was kind of funny. And also, it's ironic that we're watching a movie.
And she is an actress, so.
Yeah, and at the end, at the beginning of the movie also, they're like door to door, just like in the movies. It's like, whoa, meta.
Whoa.
Yeah, like little self-aware.
But like, I definitely. And then later that they do kind of go over like when she decided, to go into law enforcement. But like, that it's it is interesting. I think that was kind of. It's a good parallel, like when it's like, acting messes up kids, but so does law enforcement. Really, when you think about it, I mean, or it messes people up in general.
Ways. In different ways, it messes you up. What's it called? So now we move on to Lee going back to her house, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And she gets a little visit. Actually, one of the cool things is that when Lee goes to the front door of her house, she checks her mail. You can hear like rock music in the background, meaning somebody's pulling up with a car.
Right. Yeah, I think I did hear that. There was some very subtle music. Once again, the music references or whatever. I will say before that all that happens, she was solving a card because she got the. Oh, remember what is that? What she heard a noise and then she went to check and then she came back and that's when she found a card on her table.
Oh, she saw him while she was like kind of working on the case. She saw like somebody just sitting there in the woods, and
yeah, I
like
guess you're right.
this is like a cool thing that like it's sprinkled out, but like I guess like. When I had to like find this Easter egg, like I had to like really turn up the contrast on my monitor. My projector, because I really couldn't see it. You can see the devil standing behind Nicolas Cage while he's just sitting there. You can see like a goat with horns there, which is cool because that happens multiple times in this movie.
Wow.
You'd never know because it's very subtle. There's like one not so subtle one, which I think I caught when I first watched it. But he shows up like 10 times, which is like the 10 crowns of Satan, right? It's like a reference there. But Lee, with her ever balls of steel, no backup, no calling for help. She just gets her gun and just starts walking
just go
the
out.
fuck
I really
out.
like the shot because I think they left something on the cutting room floor. Not to say like it's bad, but like they didn't even show her opening her door. like she was already on her porch running like with the next shot after she was like inside after she like locked the door because Alyssa was like, you didn't lock your door, you crazy, which is true. But then she like locks it, but
in a great neighborhood, I don't know.
yeah well, it's a cabin in the middle of the nowhere, but it's I feel like she locked it and then she went to her window, saw LongLegs, and then the next shot she's like past the door already, running out to her.
She's that quick.
Yeah, like she's lightning fast. She didn't even like
action.
I don't know. She broke the lock. Like that chain was like snapped.
Yeah, like we kind of get we get another glimpse of Nic Cage's character, although be it in shadow. Like Lee goes out, tries to investigate, and then. One of the things I love about this movie is that there's like a lot of room for background. There's obviously the shot of the character talking or whatever they're doing, but there's a lot of space where the background happens, and you're constantly like eyeing the background to see if anything happens.
Yeah, they got some
and in
good
that
shots.
scene, it does. You can kind of see him. I don't know how he does this. It's mystical, probably. Is that he like gets in her house and he's like walking around at that point.
He's got help.
It's like a
from the man downstairs, from Mr. Downstairs.
Yeah, right. There's always a cute pet name for demons.
Why dude.
Mr. Wriggles, why are we trying to humanize demons?
Demonize him? No, we should elevate him. Let's empower the devil, guys.
And then we cut to her going back. She barely clears her house, which is fucking crazy to me, right? Like whenever you really suspect someone like is in your house, or even like as a kid when you're just doing it for fun, you always like go like wall to wall and make sure things are just like open, right? Like because you think your like siblings are gonna prank you or whatever since it's Halloween.
And she's an FBI agent.
Yeah, she like looks in the bathroom maybe once, and then she like immediately like
all clear
sees that there's like a note like left on her desk from LongLegs, not to open until the 14th, right?
Her birthday.
She opens it anyway. It's a decryptor. Because I guess LongLegs was like very like bored with the FBI agents trying to investigate his case, but he leaves her a kind of decryptor. I forgot what the exact thing it said, but I remember milk tits and something like that.
It was
and
something
leave
like
your mom
kill
dead.
your mother and her milk tits. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was a very very threatening message. I will say, and that kind of loops into what I'm saying because she was talking to her mom before all this happened, right? Like her mom called her, and then didn't her mom call her?
Gives her a call.
Yeah, but like in middle of her solving the card, doesn't her mom call again? And then she sounds really worried. I almost feel like that, say or like LongLegs or somebody told her like that she didn't wait or whatever. I don't know, or I don't know how. I just feel like her mom knew at that point.
Yeah, something was up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually,
That's just the vibe I got.
Good point, Aqua. Like. The mom calls like often, so you can kind of tell like their relationship. Like obviously, like Lee hasn't visited her mom in a while.
Yeah.
And we figure out why that's a problem later. But she also like mentions like, did you do your prayers? Did you do your prayers? And it comes back later. But I always thought, I was like, like why always the prayer part? Why do you need
Have you been
to
saying your
know if
prayers?
she had to do her prayers today or is doing her prayers currently?
Prayers keep us safe from the devil.
And that's interesting. Yeah, right. And that's interesting. Yeah, not to jump ahead too much, but that is interesting because she was a nurse for a long time, and then she basically became a nun, basically, right? Like eventually, and I think that was kind of her cover. Obviously, that was her cover, but like she also had to kind of convince her daughter that she was like a godly person, right? Like, oh, I'm going door to door giving these things to from the church. So I think then Lee maybe had the idea like, well, she was a nurse for a while. Now she's a nun. And I mean, she also can't remember most of the stuff. We'll get to that, but
well, she's obviously hyper religious, right? No matter what her occupation is or whatever she's doing.
Yeah,
she's
but we'll learn later why she's
family.
Why she took up the nun job. But so what I'm saying is that like she kind of had to keep up appearances. Like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a religious person now. So are you saying your prayers? You saying your prayers? That's just kind of like just a little deeper level into that because I was kind of confused too. Why like she was so concerned about it, and then later she seemed not so concerned. It was just, but it was a good way. It was kind of like it illustrated how her mom's like mind is like everywhere.
She's
nuts. She's not.
She's definitely not all there,
right,
all the time, or maybe ever. But
I don't think she ever was.
If she ever was,
nobody ever visits us.
I thought one thing that was funny is that the LongLegs decryption note is also like grammatically incorrect.
Yeah,
which is very like Zodiac killer vibes because the Zodiac notes weren't like grammatically well put together, and that's what like confused the police a little bit. That like he didn't like grammarly check his shit. I don't know. I thought that was like a fun detail.
Run it through Word first.
Yeah. Try to get the AI to correct it or some shit.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like I don't know. Well, we see this later. I know. Again, in a little bit, when we're talking to was it Carrie Ann? She has a certain way of speaking, and so like I almost feel like in some ways, and some of the other like letters and some of the other things we've seen, you're right. They're not grammatically correct, but at the same time, like it's almost poetic in a way. Maybe it's kind of going for like a poetic, you know.
So Tatan's all about illiteracy, guys. Don't you?
Right. No, and you're right though. I mean, when you think of LongLegs too, like the actual person, I forgot his name already, but the actual guy's name, which is a hilariously like stupid name, which is I think they did a good job. But like the man himself is also, he doesn't seem very smart. Obviously, he's just a tool, right? So like, I mean, even from the beginning, this guy is not the smartest. So.
Yeah,
I guess that's kind of works like that, or that kind of makes sense.
Right. So yeah, after this encounter with LongLegs, or this like semi passing by, like for some reason Lee decides not to like tell anybody about this, like about the decoder, about him breaking into her house, like at least dust for prints at least. Come on, girl.
It's not necessarily
like
the
have
case.
them like examine the notes so they can like see if they can get like fingerprints and connect everything. But nope, she's just like, I'm just gonna decrypt this and
suspension of
let's go on to the next case.
She was wearing gloves though when she was decoding the letter.
Yeah, but to no avail. Like she didn't take it into get fingerprint anyway, so it doesn't matter if she wore gloves or not.
That was off camera. That was off camera.
For all she cares. But we get to the next victim's house, which we find that LongLegs has like been there, right? It's just that no one knew that the family actually got killed because like the cover story was that they were going on vacation, right?
Disneyland.
But it'd been a month since. Yeah, woo, Disneyland.
They never made it.
Shit must have been cheap though. They were probably like, dude, $50 for our weekend pass for Disneyland.
Dude, some of those passes can get cheap, especially back in the day.
Yeah, it was probably one of the better times to go now. Now it's like $50 to drink water there.
Shit.
Actually, I think
but we get like a little.
Yeah,
Disney World would be cool. Shit.
Sorry,
but we get like a little bit of like, I don't know if they're flashbacks or just visions that Lee has of LongLegs, but there's like a mini like shot of like LongLegs reading like a book, and if you look into the book, it's what's it called? What is that? It's Golden Bough by Sir James Fraser. It's basically a study, like a 12-volume anthropomorphic text about mythical religions and practices around the world. I thought it was like a cool little detail that he's just reading that book in like his little like dungeon.
A little light reading.
A little light reading. I wonder why he would need to read books like that, but I thought it was like really cool. Again, like it was one of those things where I had to like up the contrast because I saw like the Easter egg that someone posted, but I was like I can't read the fucking book. It's like so dark all the time.
So Legion read the entire book. Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's actually interesting. There's a whole bunch of like mythical like things that even Christianity like people actually like practice. I don't know. You got to give like that book a read. Okay. But I read like some of it.
No, it does. Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Of course you did.
I like crazy books like that. Very abstract or very deep, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Then we cut to Lee like just investigating, and she's like in a library like looking up like demonic texts, and that's where she finds the connection of the Devil's Triangle.
Right.
Me and Aqua like joked about it, like how can you figure out that pattern if you didn't have like a like straight line? Like I lined up all the dates.
You'd have
correctly
to have known exactly
because, like,
the way it would have been
spacing,
read
right?
out.
Like the letter spacing and all that, the correct font.
She's psychic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
anyway,
a good way to
she
wipe
like
it
looks
away.
up. Yeah, good way to wipe it away. She like looks up, another shot of the devil. You can't really see it, but he's like in the window, like looking at her.
Shoot.
What? No way.
Yeah.
God damn it.
There's probably like a video of like here's all the times the devil showed up in LongLegs.
Yeah, there probably is
Don't
some
watch it
screenshot. Go on Reddit. I'm sure they have it.
Yeah, but it's always the goat figure with the horns.
Mhm.
That's always like the representation of the devil.
I did like.
Yeah, he
Oh, go ahead.
he appears there real quick.
Yeah, I liked how she went on about because she brought it into the office. She brought it into Carter, and she's like, "It's the algorithm. It's the YouTube algorithm." And I don't know why I thought that was kind of I did kind of I don't know I kind of liked the way that she worded it. She's like, "It's an algorithm," and like I know Carter was like not buying it. He's like, what?
What's an algorithm?
Yeah, what the fuck? And it's but like I don't know. I thought that was a pretty good play off each other. Like I think she did eventually convince him because. Oh yeah, I can't remember what it was exactly, but yeah, she was like, "Oh yeah, the camera family." Oh wait, yeah. Eventually, they got the how did they figure out to go to that farmhouse? I guess back from the.
Because like she was like the last survivor, right?
Oh.
And because like the dates were gonna line up soon with the 14th coming around, they just want to reinvestigate the house to see if they missed anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, that was. Yeah, well, I guess we'll get to it, but yeah, I just kind of liked how she kind of convinced him with the algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but before we move on, like there's like another like flash sequence of LongLegs where he quotes like a Satan Says poem by Sharon Old. It's like a short poem about a boy trapped in hell, and the devil keeps telling him that he'll let him out, but never does. I thought that was kind of fun. I don't know.
When was it? When did he say that?
It was when Lee's having her like psychic reaching out things towards LongLegs.
Oh, okay.
And he's just whispering things under his breath.
Gotcha.
But I thought that was like a cool little like nod.
Yeah.
Very very satanic, this movie.
Yeah, and there's a lot of subtle. Yeah, this movie does kind of live on subtlety.
It does. And then we drive to the farmhouse of the victim of the lone survivor. Yeah. It's a very creepy house, but I don't know. I was telling them when we were watching it. I kind of find like houses like this, like in the middle of nowhere, like very like calming. Yeah. Just like a barn, like and like your huge garage and like all this like land surrounding.
It's so cool.
It should have been. I had the kind of a similar thought. Like it should have been scarier at that point, but it was actually kind of a nice area. Like it looked great. Which I thought it did. I don't know if the movie was really trying to be like super scary in its I mean we talked about it earlier, like in its like locations. Like I feel like they weren't trying to be like super off-putting. It was more in the like the personal thing, like the
the characters themselves are off-putting, not the locations.
Yeah, the locations that while they are odd and sometimes a little like creepy, like they didn't go too hard into it. I kind of appreciated that because like so you got some movies that are like, oh look how scary it is out here, and it's like the scariest was probably
There's a crow. He's calling.
Yeah, the scariest might have been the woods outside of her house. That's probably the scariest it got.
Honestly, we were like, we could settle down here.
Yeah, even then it's like, yeah, I'll take the weird demons running around.
So like they visit the farmhouse. They look into the barn, and there's a whole bunch of X's placed throughout, which I guess they take note of because I guess when the investigation was there before, there were no X's.
Okay.
But it leads them all the way up into like this second floor of the barn where they find this doll.
Well,
like in the
it was
floorboards.
cross marks the spot.
Yeah, cross marks the
crucifix
spot.
marks the spot.
Into this doll. Very creepy, like very kind of to scale like doll. We don't know what it means, but
I thought
I
it
guess
was a body
like
at first.
yeah, it did kind of look like LongLegs. You gotta give it to his craftsmanship,
Dude.
man. The dolls he makes are pretty lifelike.
Oh, and you gotta mention the little card on top of the doll. It was just a smiley face.
Yeah, the triangle with the smiley face. You know, all I guess devil triangle almost complete in his mind, right?
Yeah.
I kept thinking of the reference to the veal too when they pulled the doll out of the small box.
It's an interesting, I don't know if I made that connection, but I kind of did. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's good. It was like they tie. You could definitely argue that doll was kind of like tied up under the in a small space. Obviously,
in a small space, yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess if you can count this as a jump scare, the doll opens its eyes when they take it out of the flooring. Just, whoop.
That was definitely a trailer shot.
Yeah. It's for the trailer shot.
Yeah,
you gotta get that into promotion.
I think we decided
those dolls.
Yeah, I think we decided it was he just put one of those gravitational like weighted eyelids on it.
Ugh.
It's my head.
Yeah,
also,
they
also
take it to an examiner.
Yeah. Well, it's also is literally the devil's inside it, so that too.
That too.
Yeah. Well, we take it to the examiner, and he notes that there is like actual like human hair on top of the doll, but that was pretty well made. And then in the head consisted of a metal like empty orb, which had like no significance, but once you put like a device up to it, like it emits like a frequency. And during that scene, you can kind of see Lee like holding her head, like if it as this orb is like affecting her a little bit in some way. That's like probably like the first time like there's like actual kind of semi mysticism in this movie. Like there could actually like be magic at work, but like something the examiner says is that he can hear his ex-wife's voice coming from the ball, which you think he's like, oh, he's just kind of crazy, but actually kind of holds some weight considering like what happens later.
And they don't even say anything to him. He's just like, I thought I heard voices anyways, and they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Oh no, anyway. Yeah, I was gonna mention that because when you were mentioning it, like he doesn't just say it's pretty well made. He kind of went on and on about the excellent craftsmanship. Which I thought was kind of funny, like, and I mean, in a lot of ways, I get it, but at the same time, like, I almost feel like maybe there was some influence even there, like you say, because he was hearing his ex-wife's name. I wonder why, like, okay, if we're going through the whys of things, like why was the devil whispering the coroner's ex-wife to him just to fuck with him, I guess. And like, or was he starting to really like the doll, like you know what I mean? I think maybe because he was going on and on about it, like. And we saw in some of the other shots how people fawn over this doll once they get it, you know.
Right.
So
maybe
like,
he wanted him to kill his ex-wife.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm not.
Maybe.
That might very well be it. I mean, you know, I bet the devil at that point was like, well, let's use this doll for what we can right now. Let's show more chaos.
Yeah.
Right.
Then Lee and like her getting a semi-migraine, she flashes to LongLegs again. And it's him, like, kind of dressing up the doll, saying, "You're not afraid of the dark because you are the darkness."
Oh, right.
It comes back to, like, my theory later, but I'll get to that towards the end. But I thought that was, like, a cool, like, cool little cut to, like, what Nic Cage, like, tries to do, like, to set up all these scenarios. Is that he's just kind of, like, crazy talking in his basement to dolls.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, there, like you say, the devil was in the doll, so I guess he's kind of also just talking to the devil.
Yeah,
in a way. Yeah, and that's where I think we get to the visiting Carrie Ann camera,
so.
Like the laser. Oh wait, no, we cut to Nic Cage at a convenience store, or LongLegs in a convenience store.
That one was good.
Where like I guess he goes to his like daily like convenience store he always goes to because when he tries to I guess talk to the girl and like do like the weird like cuckoo thing and then she's like, "Daddy, the weird guy is back in the store again."
Right.
That's the director's daughter.
Oh,
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I will say, and I guess I don't know. I guess that can kind of go into what I was gonna say about another animal, because you talk about like a daddy long legs thing, but like also like cuckoos, the bird. I don't know. I'm sure you might know even if you know a little bit about biology, but their thing is that what is it? They go into other nests, right, and kick out all the little eggs, all the little baby eggs, and kill them. And I think that might have something, because he says it a few times. He also says it when we flash back later, when with the picture, and you can hear in the background, right before young Lee sees him, and we know that she took the picture of him at that point. But I think the cuckoo bird is perhaps a bit of a reference to killing the kids.
Actually, that's a good call too. Like I remember like looking at interviews. That like the cuckoo thing, like all like his mannerisms, like Nic Cage said that comes from like his mom.
Huh.
That he got like the inspiration for like the character acting from his mom, and he's like, oh, she's not like a psychotic killer or anything, but she would sometimes do that, and like she would like kind of like wear like kind of pale makeup, and like that's where he got like his little caricature things.
Well, and she was schizophrenic.
That is such like a weird like like drawl from, not from like an actual serial killer, but just your mom.
Yeah, I read that his mom had schizophrenia.
Oh,
so
wow. There you go. They I almost wanted to. I guess this is another thing I was gonna maybe mention, but I was wondering if maybe he was almost becoming a doll himself.
Yeah.
There's like a theory about his like getting plastic surgery and like failing.
Overdone. Like they almost look like cement fillers in his face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just kind of wonder if it was like kind of like a thing where that was his job and he was almost becoming his job, because obviously the devil was making him do it, and he's like, well, yeah, and I'm gonna kind of like become the craft that I pursue.
Mm-hmm.
Just thought,
and that's where we get Nic Cage freaking out in his car after getting getting insulted by the
being
little
called
girl.
Gross.
Well, yeah, I did love his outburst. Mommy, Daddy,
was it like
save me from the hell of living?
Yeah, save me from the hell of living.
I don't know if that's that sounded like lyrics or something. I don't know. Unmake me. Yeah, that's what it was. Sounded like a black metal song or something.
I know. I was like, this is kind of fire.
I know. I was like,
spit some bars.
I know. Like Nic Cage featuring Nic Cage.
Well, like people who are really good at yelling or projecting, like kind of have like decent singing voices. So,
yeah, sure.
Maybe we could get an album from him.
The Nic Cage Christmas album. Let's go.
One of the funny things about the yelling is that like in interviews, Osgood Perkins said like Nic Cage like knew how to like not peek the mic, which I thought that was weird. Like no matter how loud he yelled, he knew how to keep it so like the mic wouldn't like tip off and break. And the same thing with his whispering, he knew how to like keep it super low, like just off the top of his head. He knows how to keep his vocal range at a certain point in which it won't break the audio for the movie. I thought that was interesting.
Very cool.
A funny thing to do right now would be to peek my mic, but I won't do it.
Mommy!
And you also get like a little shot of his little like bottle opener that's hanging on his rearview mirror of the Hydra.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when he's driving.
Okay. I didn't really know it was Hydra, but okay. That which they mentioned in the Book of Revelation.
Yeah, and in the Get It On by the T-Rex song, too.
Okay, interesting.
And then, I think after that, we do visit Carrie
Ann, right?
Right?
We were almost, my next bullet point is about Carrie Ann, but you're right, we had to do that whole visit. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about with that, because, like you say, I liked his singing voice.
we figure out that the institution that she's in has like shitty security because they don't even check IDs.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
That's so funny. Like, you didn't even think to check, and it's like this sounds like a good
90s.
idea.
Yeah, they didn't know. I love that.
It's so funny. Like you would think like there is like some sort of like level of, I don't know, like security in which they would protect people from actually like maybe past people from visiting their victims or something like that.
Especially when a weirdo like that comes in to see.
I know.
I like to think he walked in there like super premed up and dressed up. Maybe a little weird in the face, but like he walked in there like with his business suit.
Yeah, didn't have the faked on makeup. Maybe he looked really good that way with his hair like up or something. He looked like a.
He had it like in his ponytail.
Yeah, right.
I'm her lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd think if they saw him, they'd be like, lawyer. "Oh, he lives here." You know.
How did you get out?
Oh yeah, you're just coming back.
Why did you come back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of weird. I don't know if this might be kind of too deep of a cut, but it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you saw Dallas Buyers Club.
Oh yeah.
But when what's the actor's name when he goes back to his dad or whatever? Yeah, he looks he dresses up in like a suit and everything, but they're actually trans in the movie. So like they live as a girl, but dressed up in like a suit and everything, and with long hair and a ponytail. So it was probably something like that. Well, never mind.
And signs his name as Lee Harker, and they're like,
Lee Harker.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah. Well, that's interesting too, because it's like it's Lee. I guess that could be any gender. So that was a good a good move. They probably planned that one out for the.
They didn't even look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for signing our guest book.
Isn't that the FBI agent whose partner got shot at that house the other day?
Yeah.
I guess they don't keep up with current events either.
Yeah, it hadn't hit the papers yet.
Right.
It wasn't Sunday quite yet, so I didn't know. It wasn't on social media.
Exactly.
It wasn't on Facebook or Oregon Facebook.
Yeah.
But we find out that Carrie Ann has been catatonic up until the point where LongLegs had visited her that day. And then now all of a sudden she's talking, she's kind of conversing. Although not very like I guess coherent talking. But she's been more like active than she ever was, which was basically catatonic.
I think that is how she was though, because she mentions how her mom didn't like her very much because she came out wrong.
Yeah, she was born wrong.
She was born wrong, so she was already. And this is you know what? I mean, let me see. I did kind of another theme that I saw, or that I noticed. Maybe you did too. Is that it seems like all these kids have difficult births, or all these kids made their moms bleed a lot.
They mentioned that all their kids bled them a lot.
Well, yeah, at least Carrie Ann's mom and also Lee's mom said that they bled and bled and bled, which might be a thing where it's like that could be like a devil curse or something. Like when certain people are born, like if they make their mom bleed a lot, it's like it might be a sign of something. But that's a theme I meant.
Alyssa, confirm.
Yeah, confirm or deny.
Shoot. Luckily, I didn't have that problem, so I have angels.
All right.
Okay, we're
Just deny every doll that comes to your house now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she doesn't need them.
Yeah. I like what she said. She's all like, dirty, flirty old angel bitch.
It was a great line.
Angel bitch.
I was all, I like that.
And the fact that she just tells, and this is, I thought was cool because since Lee's kind of a dissociative in a lot of ways, like the way that it was just funny because like Carrie Ann was like, if he told me to jump off a roof, I sure would, or whatever, and then like, or if he told me to kill you barehanded, I would, and she has like no reaction to that.
Peaches.
She's just sitting there like.
Like, oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah, she said, make your heart go pop, pop.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go make your heart go pop, pop. And she's like, and then like Lee's unfazed. She's just like, and what else?
She's like, yeah, whatever, stupid.
Lee has nerves of steel, man.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Goes to her danger.
So that's why I think her character, like I don't know, just her character was pretty well done in that way. That like it almost was kind of believable that she was like, okay, like she wouldn't react to that, or she might not because she's a little bit like social. She's like, she doesn't.
You fucking little girl. I'll take you out of this world right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to jump ahead, but we do learn later. Someone did say to jump off a
she
bridge.
obeys,
She
for
did,
sure.
But that's okay.
Yeah. And we get like a little bit of a flashback of how Carrie Ann's parents thing went.
Right.
Where they did like receive like
that's where Nixon
something,
shows up.
and then the dad slaughters a cow, beheads it completely.
Yeah.
The mom is like stabbing the doll that represents, of course, the daughter Carrie Ann. She's like stabbing it. And then like a preacher shows up to the house right when the craziness is happening, and he gets axed.
Yeah, I didn't really get the relevance of that, but I think looking back, it was a surprise. Right? Like it wasn't supposed to happen. That preacher was not supposed to come. So you almost think
you can see him the only one like reacting to like the death. Like you can see him like kind of holding up his hands as the dad's
right.
like coming.
No, which
down
makes
with the
me
axe.
think, was that some sort of divine intervention? You know what I mean? Is that the opposite?
By the devil.
No, well, no,
yeah.
No, but the fact that
intervention.
the fact that the preacher died, it's not good for him. But like, but it messed up the devil's plan, really.
Well, actually, like the daughter was late to the bus. That's why she didn't show up, like to get killed as well.
Well, but
so
still,
maybe that's the intervention.
Well, yeah, that too, maybe. Yeah, it's just thought like you know what I mean? Because then again, I don't really know why he decided to kill the preacher right away. He could have just said okay and then let him go. But yeah, I don't know. But like maybe the devil's driving these people to like kill so much that it's hard to control, and if anybody comes in unexpected, it's over. It's Jover. But yeah, it's but yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe I'm just saying like, yeah, it was unexpected that the preacher came. So was that Jesus himself saying, "Go there and die for me."
Get killed.
But like, hey, it saved Carrie Ann at least for a while.
No, the bus saved Carrie Ann.
I mean, I
she
guess
shows up after they're dead.
I guess it's both. I'm just saying. I don't know why they killed the preacher, but the fact that they did really screwed up their plans because then they just all died.
Yeah.
They're all gonna die anyway, though.
But Carrie Ann didn't.
Yeah, because she was late on the bus.
Yes, but also because the preacher came.
They're dead, but they're dead after, like, long before everyone's dead, though.
I'm just saying the preacher messed everything up, didn't he? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
But what's it called? What do we do? Oh yeah, then we go to Ruth's mom because I guess what's it called? Lee like decides to like just visit her. Because like they just have no leads and I guess they had downtime. But what's it called? And we figure out like Lee's mom, she kind of like lives like super, I guess I don't know, far away from people. There's like kind of like a main road.
Yeah.
But she lives a little bit further from everybody else.
It's not quite a cabin in the woods.
Yeah, not quite like what like Lee's current home kind of feels like right now. But she always mentions that no one visits her. One of the cool things I thought was when I was like looking up, I was like, oh wow, like I think I recognize this actress. Alicia Witt was her name. And then I looked up her IMDb and I scrolled all the way down. She's Aaliyah. She's in Dune, 1984. She's Paul Muad'Dib's little sister.
Whoa.
Which if you're a Dune fan, that's like
cool.
super sick.
That's definitely some cool cred.
Yeah, and I like told that to my mom. She's like, "Wow, she's still acting to this day." I'm like, "Yeah."
I feel like I've seen her in more recent stuff too, but yeah, I know that's cool.
She still got her weird characters down, man. She still got her weird characters down. Yeah. But yeah, like she also mentions again, like, have you been doing her prayers? And I thought like a cool thing was that like Lee's just like, no, I haven't been doing my prayers because they scare me.
Another great.
And then I was like, I wonder if it's because they were like satanic prayers and she just didn't realize that they were.
It could be. Yeah. I don't. It's hard to think. It's hard to know because like also apparently Lee's forgotten a lot of things anyway.
Yeah.
So how does she even know she's been doing her prayers?
Like I guess trauma.
Yeah.
Makes everyone forget stuff.
But, I mean, well, yeah, plus the devil, but yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I almost just think she doesn't. Yeah, it could be. It could be because she knew they were like maybe satanic or something. But I mean, the mom just laughs. I think in my mind it was just like the mom pretending to keep up the act of being religious and almost finally just letting that go, finally dropping the mask at that point.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of creep a little bit into like her psyche because like Lee like finds like syringes and drugs and she's like, Jesus Christ. Like she's on one right now.
Yeah.
But it's so funny when she's like investigating the house, like she looks around, she finds like the basement door. They're like cans of food laying next to the basement door.
Oh jeez, I didn't.
That's like a little cockroach crawls up from underneath the basement door. But I thought that was like a cool like reference because like she gets distracted by something. I kind of forget, but then the cans are gone in the next scene. Yeah, and then the cans are just gone in the next scene. I was like, either some prop master forgot, but in my head canon, he just quickly like snatched the cans of.
Honestly, I didn't notice that. Jeez.
What else?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, she's just hyper religious. There's Lee asked about her childhood and what Aqua mentioned, like she mentions that like a lot of little girls don't get to grow up and like it's kind of like a privilege to just be older, right? Because a lot of them aren't afforded a chance, and Lee's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, yeah.
What
are you trying to say, Mom?
But yeah, you're right. The wordage of you were allowed to grow up I thought was hilarious.
It's like, what the freak?
Yeah, so yeah, mom's not all there, She's definitely like missing a couple of brain cells. Over the years, maybe it's dementia. We don't know yet. She is taking a lot of like drugs, although they're come in syringe form, so I don't know.
I guess I don't.
She used to be a nurse.
Them drugs.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
She's administering the antipsychotics through her veins.
Yeah.
That might be it. You might be right. Yeah.
Could be.
And so it's funny though. Like once I figured out she was in Dune, I see a lot of like the looking into like the spice in her acting in that scene. I don't know. Maybe I'm like drawing a little bit.
She's a spice actor. She's a spice girl.
Yeah, but she is a spice girl. So I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, Lee. I guess Lee. You can kind of see where her kind of social like distance comes from because her mom's kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of a hoarder kind of thing.
Yeah, like there's a hoarder situation. Although not the worst it could be. It's like it's more British hoarder rather than like American hoarder. Like you can definitely get around the house like and it's not like just full ass fucking diapers hanging around. It's definitely like functional hoarder.
Right.
Not,
I mean,
yeah,
and she does mention it. She's like,
hoarder.
I may have forgotten everything, but I kept everything or something like that.
Yeah, I don't throw anything away.
Yeah, which I think is a little weird, but once again, since all the trauma and all the things she's went through, let alone, Lee too, but yeah, I guess I could understand why you'd want to keep things from before you were like the devil's servant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I feel like, I don't know, this must be my family because Filipinos are definitely hoarders, but we definitely do keep, like, a lot of, like childhood, like...
Sentimental stuff.
Sentimental stuff, like, especially for your own kids. Like, you're like, this is the third grade science project you did.
I do, too.
It's right here. Which kind of plays into Lee's flashback. She's, like, kind of, like, looking through her chest.
Her
and,
hope
like,
chest.
Her hope chest. There's a little bit of a school project of the life cycle of butterflies. I'll mention why I think that's important later, but there's another shot of the devil in the doorway.
Oh,
what? How am I missing all of these?
In her childhood, by the way, not her like thinking about it. Like in her childhood, when she was like looking through her chest, like playing around with it. There's like the shot of the devil, like standing in the doorway, like looking over her.
God damn it! I watched it on the TV in the living room. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, you gotta up the brightness, man. Like,
okay, I'll watch it on the computer.
Maybe if I watched on these monitors, it'd be a little better. But like, I could not fucking see it until someone's like, "Oh my god, look at all these shots!" You're just standing there menacingly.
Yeah, I paid the $10 and just watched it in the living room, and then now I'm like wishing I would have watched it on the PC.
Yeah. Then yeah, she. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is this the point? Is this the part where she finds the pictures in her room?
Yeah. Like she takes the chest back home to her own house, and then she realizes that like in her childhood she did snap a picture of Nic Cage LongLegs. When she was younger.
That was
and I guess at that point the mother was normal, right? Because she's very like combative of this random fucking dude that shows up at their house.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here?
Who
are
you? The timeline is still a little weird because the night that she hears that car come in, she called it in. But it must have been the next day that he actually approaches, like Lee, and then she's asking like, "What are you doing?" And then that's when LongLegs says, "Oh, you want a gift from the church," right?
Yeah, but apparently his approach to visiting homes is not as effective.
Well, right, and that's true, and also this is what also got me is like the music theme. Like he just starts singing, right?
Yeah, he does start singing.
And like and he sings a couple other times, and like I mean we've discussed it, but I'm almost thinking like, is that some sort of like weird like mind control?
I think it's an incantation because he says, "Let me in." Yeah.
And like, and for some reason, that doesn't freak anybody out. Like, I mean, and I get it. Like, I kind of like it, you know. And I think you're right. I think it could be some sort of incantation. It was something thought I had because because there's a lot of music themes and a lot of singing themes, and I thought, I think maybe you're right. It's like some sort of incantation because. And then later he does start just tying her up and stuff and explains to her like what he's kind of doing, I guess. But like, yeah. So, and then that's when she says, okay, well, to save my daughter, I'll do this. Yeah. So she can, so she's allowed to grow up. But yeah, it was a little, the timeline was a little confusing and like, just like, the fact that like he was able to get in there. You're right. Not as easy as a nun or whatever coming in.
His approach to door-to-door stuff is not as effective.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So basically, this is a recruitment job, literal headhunting.
Yeah, he can't be the face of the company.
Yeah, he has to be. Yeah, he's the doll maker. She's the delivery girl.
So Lee figures out like she goes up to her boss and's like, this is him, and he's like, are you sure you want to start the manhunt? Like, off just one photo, and she's like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
I don't even know how they would find him, because when they do find him, he's just at a random bus stop, like, with his luggage.
I mean...
Right? And they somehow, like, intersect him, like, in that point.
It's not like this
and
was... Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's not like this was before video camera, so I guess they might have saw him at the convenience store, maybe?
Yeah, that girl gave him up. She's all, that gross guy, he's down the road.
Yeah, like they don't even like say how they found him. They just find him.
Yeah,
whatever. They need to advance the plot.
The cutting room floor is maybe has some things on. We've watched a director's cut. Now here we go.
Yeah, right. That would be. I wonder if they would.
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't think Osgood Perkins is interested in like too much more of like LongLegs. I think this was just his fun project, and that's that.
Sure.
But yeah, they get LongLegs into the FBI office. He starts singing "Happy Birthday" to Lee. He tells the FBI agents he doesn't want to speak to anybody else.
Where's the
for 24 minutes?
Yeah, for 24. Yeah, how long? Yeah, that was a great exchange. Yeah, this goes on for how long? Lee's like, for how long though?
The funny thing is, it's like the 90s, right? It's like the 90s, so they have to like get the VHS recording from him singing, and then they have to wheel out the TV like every teacher does, and like stick the fucking VHS
rewind it
in the VCR and rewind it, and then they're like, okay, let's watch this.
Girl. And then of course they had the greatest freeze frame when she was
I know.
when he was singing.
Oh yeah, when they just discuss for a little bit, and he's
so good.
Which I thought was a great shot. Like I thought it was a great shot.
Yeah. I'd be like, can we turn that off?
It was.
Yeah, can we get the screen, the DVD screensaver where it just bounces off the corners of
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
of the TV.
Yep.
But what's it called? We figure out his name is Dale Ferdinand Cobble. Which is funny because when I looked it up, there's a character in the cast list, like called Agent Cobble, and I don't know if that was like a cut thing, like an agent was supposed to be like maybe like familial related to this guy,
weird.
But as far as I know from scrubbing the movie a few times, he never shows up as a character, but he has the same last name as the serial killer. It would have been like a cool like thing to say that he had help within the FBI, and that's what made it a little easier, but it was never like a thing. I just thought that was interesting looking up all like the credits.
Headcanon.
Yeah.
It could be, but yeah. So we get to Lee getting down to the holding cell and conducting an interview because the clock's ticking, right? We're a day out from the actual like next supposed victim on the 14th.
Well, when they're still talking in front of that freeze frame, that's when Lee like randomly quotes the Book of Revelation, and that's and then it blew it blew Alyssa's mind that it's not the Book of Revelations.
It blew my mind.
You too. I think I kind of knew that.
I like
like Mandela effect.
Yeah.
I like when the lady too, like when she's like, "Where is he?" and she goes, "He's downstairs, right beneath your feet." And I was like,
downstairs.
"Ooh, that's a reference to the
Mr.
devil."
Downstairs, yep. In fact, you can call him Mr. Downstairs.
I feel like I'm not calling him that.
I'm not calling him that. But sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, we just get to the interview, which is probably the reason my little gripe about this movie is that in total we only get 3 to 4 scenes with LongLegs ever in the movie, and it's a shame because this whole scene is just like Nic Cage like going off. I thought it was funny, like in an interview he said like he really practiced for this scene because like there's not much he can do because obviously in the scene he's handcuffed to his seat, right, because he's a criminal. But he said like he just set up his iPhone and just trying to like did lines by himself, tried to get as much movement and like facial expressions as possible because he tries not to think about the big scene, but of course in the movie this is the big scene, right? This is where the actual like main character and the antagonist actually meet for like the first time. So I thought it was like nice that he really tried to bring it. Also, like side note, like according to interviews, like Nic Cage said this is like the last serial killer he ever wants to play. He said he doesn't really like playing serial killers.
Weird.
Which is a shame because I thought he like really rocked it in this movie and like, a couple other movies where he's kind of like a killer.
I feel like he
rocks
really
it so hard, but
like almost like an Anthony Hopkins kind of thing going.
Yeah, which fair to him. I feel like a lot of like really like intense like killer characters like kind of messes up the actor in some way because it's always like some sort of like putting yourself in the shoes of said character, right?
I mean,
and so I guess at some point it's kind of hard on him. So as much as I'd like to see him in another kind of crazy role like this is it for his serial killer roles.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, this was good exposition. Like it did explain a lot. This whole conversation. I don't know how deep you want to get into it, but I know that one line I liked was that when he says you can pick the crimson or clover, which I thought was cool, and that once again with more classic rock, Tommy James and the Shondells has a song. Also, Joan, Jett and the Blackhearts did a good cover of it. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, Crimson and Clover, great song. I don't know if it's not a reference to that song specifically, but I guess I don't know if I've ever heard that described like as a devil deal, like Crimson or Clover. So so that almost makes me think it could be a reference to the song. I don't know. But not
or
like
he's just crazy,
or not a reference to the song. But I wonder if there's a connection somewhere with like maybe the song is referencing something I've never heard about, or maybe like I say, maybe it is kind of goes with the classic rock kind of theme in some of this stuff. But I really like that because it was like either you choose to basically die by when you receive this gift, you can either destroy the gift with yourself. Or you can get down to the dirty work like a mop or a rag.
Yeah, like clean and dirty at the same time.
Yeah, and then you can save yourself. You accept the gift and you help the devil.
I like when he says pale as tits, and I was like, I resonate
he really
with that.
likes tits and pale things.
I resonate with that.
I do. I have pale tits.
Milk tits?
Like, hey, that part's for me. Milk tits.
Yeah, a lot of tit mentions in this movie.
Yeah.
It would be the milk tits or the pale tits.
Maybe just talk about the birds.
Maybe. But I like to think he was talking about me.
I think so. I think
Alyssa wishes she was the interviewer in that whole thing.
Nick was thinking about you when he was practicing all those lines.
Where did you get those pictures?
They're on Polaroid next to like Lee's pictures of him.
Yeah, right there, right next to those Polaroids.
But yeah, we get like a lot of good character acting from Nick, just doing the.
Right, well, he did a lot of the hair. The hair was getting in his eyes, and he's like brushing, and whipping his head around, being like,
and he was like circling.
I should have bored my hair down for this one. Oh
well. But yeah, like it concludes in him basically saying like, hey, why don't you ask your mom?
Yeah.
About all these things before he goes and says "Hail Satan," and then he continuously smashes his head against the metal table.
So gross.
Killing himself.
I was kind of being a dickhead about it, and I was like, "Oh, there's no way you could actually do that. Like, I don't think any spine has the force you could use to actually kill yourself that way, but the devil might have been like doing it basically. Like, because that's kind of cool. Like, the devil could have been back there bashing his head. Yeah, I don't know.
Your job is done.
Yeah, that's kind of my headcanon. But yeah, I don't know.
You could.
I was kind of
drugs. You could maybe.
What?
If you're on enough drugs like PCP, could you think you could actually?
Yes.
I guess so. I just feel like this from a sitting position. Like maybe if you had full range. I mean, sure, maybe it is possible. I just didn't.
It's a steel table. You can hit yourself pretty damn hard.
Yeah, I suppose so. I just didn't think the spine had that kind of whipping ability. Especially when you're seated down, like you don't have any leverage. You're just there doing. You know what I mean? He was like chained to the chair. Maybe if he was free to do whatever, maybe you can do that. But I mean, it was good. It was pretty good cinema, really. I like that scene.
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy. I think like towards like maybe the last hit, I think his nose is hanging off too.
Yeah, the nose is gone. Which again, is that really possible? Like, even if you could bash your head that far, like the nose just comes off.
What if she like quickly like grabbed like a pillow or something?
I know, that's what I was thinking. She puts her hands there.
Yeah, you can't do it now, bitch.
She should have kicked him backwards so he lands.
Yeah. No, I like that. It's it's a pillow with like Jesus' face on it.
It's the Book of Revelation.
Yeah, it's the Book of Revelation.
It's actually a Z.
Yeah, it's Book of Revelations. I love that.
Yeah, that scene was disgusting, dude.
I think that's a rap album. Book of Revelation.
But yeah, like damn, he really gets the splatter too because towards the last hit, right, is where like the happens, like the actual like
it definitely lands on her.
It's like confetti.
Yeah.
Well, because he says, "I'll be everywhere." Didn't he say that?
A little bit of everywhere.
I'll be a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, especially on your work shirt.
Like, on your ID to
get exactly. I was gonna say on your lanyard for the FBI.
Gross! It's the devil's confetti.
That's what I smoke every night.
Yeah.
No, it's like the strain is like the man downstairs or the guy in the basement. And that's what the strain's called.
Dude, yeah, the man in the basement. The doll
Mr. Downstairs.
Mr. Downstairs.
Mr. Cage.
Wow, we got some good names for things. Someone clip this.
Write that down.
Write that down. Someone record this.
Write it down. So no cannabis store can take the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny. Like again, like. How can like her boss, Agent Carter, be like so oblivious? Because he does like freak out. He's like, "No, we have fucking nothing."
Yeah, thanks a lot for letting him kill himself. Like what?
Yeah,
like what the
it's
fuck
like what? He was that is kind of.
What are you mad about?
Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, he's like, he was our only lead. Now it's gone. It's like, okay.
It's like, and it's almost the 14th, and also I gotta get to my daughter's birthday. I was like, what the fuck? Dude?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, plus, don't they?
Are you stupid?
They have those like spit guards. Like they should have put him in the Anthony Hopkins thing.
Yeah,
true.
It's the 90s.
They should have like gave him like that football helmet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anthony Hopkins, the crazy guy.
Yeah.
They all he shot a movie with it once he was in it.
He liked it so much. He said, "I'm gonna wear this for
Let's
this."
Put
one
it in
movie.
a movie.
And that movie was Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like Carter, come on, dude. Your daughter's birthday's coming up.
Maybe
bro.
he's already. Yeah, I almost want to say maybe he's already getting affected by the devil, but honestly, no, because that. Oh, maybe. Yeah. When did the gift come exactly? Maybe he was already
on the birthday.
Yeah, I know, but wasn't that the day? Yeah, I mean, I'm just Either way, because I'm just saying, maybe he was getting affected by it. Maybe the doll was like at his house already.
Oh damn! It's
it's Wi-Fi.
Wild.
It's a Wi-Fi doll,
super
devil.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it technically is, right?
That's got to be a movie. The Wi-Fi devil.
The Wi-Fi devil. Actually, it's funny. I was watching last night. There's a fucking AI horror short film. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Nice. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's funny. That could be creepy. Dude, AI is creepy anyway. They could easily do a horror film.
Yeah.
Movie.
Mm-hmm.
But so Lee's like takes, was it Agent Belmont?
Well, yeah. Well, but right before this, Carter does say that that Carrie Ann just jumped off the roof at the exact same time that
Right.
that LongLegs.
Man, should have gave her a mattress.
Yeah, we needed pillows and mattresses here. Dang it. But they were all
for all these mentally unstable people.
All the pillows and mattresses were in the basement of her mom's house where she wakes up later. But we'll get to that. But I will say, and you were gonna go to this scene, so I'll do the dirty work. Yeah, go. I thought it was kind of interesting that I call it the dichotomy of her partners, because the first time it was him gonna go into the house and then her hang back and ended up with him dead, and this time she went into the house, and then Lee went into the house and her partner waited in the car. And it's just kind of funny. It's like two different strategies worked oppositely.
Just don't hang around with Lee. She's fucking.
And they died in the same way,
fucking unlucky
too.
Or some shit.
Yeah. She can't have a partner.
Yeah, she can't have a partner. She has to go solo. I mean, she does fine solo apparently.
She's really fine at it. I don't know why she's insisting
twice.
Well, she's also a rookie, right? So like she's always like basically forced, I think, to like travel with these people that die on her. With her all the time.
She's like Dirty Harry. He's like, all my partners die. But like her agent friend or her partner who goes along with her gets her head blown off. I thought the scene was kind of good because like the way the mother approaches the car is very creepy. Like she's kind of floating.
Yeah.
Just like do, and then she like lines up the shot of her double barrel.
Yeah.
Gone.
Oh,
and Lee again. She like nerves of steel. Immediately checks the window. Not checks the window. She's already looking in the window. She grabs her gun. She kind of freaks out a little bit because, of course, it's her mom. She knows it's her mom doing it. But like, but the weird thing is like before she gets outside, like the mom has another time to like line up another shot. She walks around the car for tap number 2.
Yeah, she double taps.
Like what the freak?
Well, she doesn't know. She doesn't know what the devil. I don't know.
I think you got
I will say right before the shot. When she's walking through her mom's house, guess what's playing in the background? The Price is Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it's funny because we were talking about that on our sick podcast.
That's right.
It all comes
It does, dude.
It does.
Don't watch Price is Right. You might get the devil in you.
Yeah.
A lot of our horror movies are like devil-centric. We have a problem, guys.
I know. Yeah, well, yeah, we should watch something more grounded someday. Nah.
The Exorcist.
Yeah, Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late Night with the God. I don't know. Morning with the God. Early Morning with Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the next movie.
Yes.
But yeah. Apparently the mom has. Maybe not. Maybe she already has it set up. But apparently, like the doll's already like kind of sitting there.
Yeah, we don't know.
This might be
her mom's is so fast with everything.
Yeah, they both are. Everyone in this movie has like inhuman like speed for some
the devil's
reason.
Confetti. They're just on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the doll's set up, and maybe this is a little bit too headcanny, but I feel like that's Miss Harker's like last act of defiance was destroying the doll.
Sure,
because,
I could see that.
She mentions that what's it called? Cobble's gone. He's dead, and she's like, "Oh, like so you're finally free after this." And she's like,
"Well, yeah." And I did. And once again, the good pun with headcanon. I got another pun. I think that was a really good shot. When the doll's head is blown off, and then you can see the smoke coming out of Lee's head. Yeah. I thought that was great. And I mean, I guess it's probably not really ever described or explained exactly what those balls are exactly. But I mean, it's definitely. I almost feel like that could almost be the way it's sort of grounded in reality. I mean, it's obviously mystical, magical, but like I almost feel like there's
I'd
like
say the opposite.
Yeah, I almost feel like there's a certain science maybe with those balls. You know what I mean? Like because when they put the thing up, and you could hear the resonance and whatever. Like I wonder if it's the devil kind of using kind of this weird resonance of this ball to like, you know what I mean, to influence.
Yeah, because I don't know. For me, this is like where like the movie like disconnects me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because up until now, it's been although there's like a lot of religious and satanic undertones of it, it's been very like grounded, right? Like things make sense. Although Lee has powers, whatever.
Yeah.
Things been like pretty grounded. Like there's been like mysticism, magical or like actual like examples of that. But like once the doll's head gets blown off and like black smoke appears behind Lee's head as well as the doll's, she gets like some sort of like mental clarity, like the control of the doll like has like been released and she's no longer like in a daze.
Well, and she apparently gets a lot of her memories
She's a little
back.
bit more talkative. Yeah, she gets her memories back. Everything that was kind of like blocked off from her. like, because I guess this doll like existed in probably the basement of her house all this time. Which I guess she didn't know because she never visits her mom, or else she'd probably know that Cobble was had been down there the whole
They were
time.
roommates.
But yeah, and they were roommates. But yeah, that's and like Lee's memories come back. Although she does get like also memories of her mom and how she actually did her stuff, because there's a little bit of like flashbacks of the mom dressing up, or not the mom dressing up, but before then, the mom getting captured by LongLegs and like making basically the deal with the devil.
Yeah, that was the deal. She forgot
like,
about the deal,
a life
that she made to and then she's like, well, it was and I guess that was the point of the memories in the thing.
Yeah,
was that you wouldn't remember that your mom.
You just gotta shoot them out of your head.
Yeah, you just gotta shoot the doll. Yep. I guess you gotta shoot the doll that you that. Yeah, I guess it's explained, and I mean, kind of brought up later. I guess to free the kid, you got to shoot the doll.
Yeah,
like that's like the control it has over like the family, and also the little girls it's supposed to represent as well. It's like the metal ball in their head,
right? And I like, again, with the flashback to Carrie Ann, the camera family, they were like, well, it's like the dad was like had it on its lap, like reading to her, but also the mom was stabbing the doll. Like, I don't know if these families love the doll or hate the doll, or maybe it's just bringing out like their worst emotions. I mean, and it just whispers them the whole time, no matter what you're doing to it. Like, even if you're stabbing it, it's like, okay, it's fine.
Stab me
but
harder,
still,
Mom.
You should probably stab your daughter too, definitely. And like, or the dad was just sitting there reading to it, and that doll was just saying, "Oh yeah, great." Also, stab your daughter. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just
also kill the cow.
It's just each doll plays to its audience, whatever it wants to do. Although I don't know how the dad didn't notice the stabs in the doll.
The ripped up
they're already like controlled.
Yeah, right.
Point,
at that point,
it's like
you're right.
They're really thinking rationally
because the control.
They're already in like serial killer mode.
Well, I guess you're right, because I mean, we'll see in a minute with the Carter's family. Like, like it's almost like they do have some free will, but it's being suppressed. During that time. Yeah,
and they keep staring at the doll like it's talking.
Well, the daughter
at them.
was just hugging it the whole time, which I thought was a good touch. I guess we'll get to it. I guess we're about there.
Yeah, almost there. And then Lee wakes up like her character almost feels like she has like a mental fog released from her. So I don't know, like maybe this plays into her social awkwardness and her like social distance from people, but she seems to have like some sort of clarity. She wakes up in the basement, which now we know that's where Cobble's been in the mom's basement the whole time, working on these dolls as part of the deal. I guess she feeds them canned corn and green beans every day, because that was always like those were like the cans placed around the house. But then his favorite. That's all he ate. He was actually a good, strong, growing boy. But she hears a phone ring, and I don't know, theoretically, I guess like a lot of people are saying that was like the devil, like saying, "Hey, you're late for what's her name? Ruby's birthday. It's Ruby's birthday. You're late." And then Carrie Ann's like, "I don't want to come. I don't want to be invited." But yeah, she rushes all the way down to what's it called? The house of her boss.
And that I thought that shot
in
of
the
her
car, I should say.
Yeah, his car was his car, right? And
it's his car.
And it was cool because the way that she screams mirrors when he was screaming in the car when he mommy daddy thing.
That goes into the theory I have.
Oh, okay. But what, a haunted car? Oh no. But it's like poetry.
It does, and she does have her scream, right? Because she realizes like her mom's just been like a unwilling but willing accomplice to all the murders,
but she won't quit it.
Well, and she kind of realizes that it was kind of because of her. Like, if her mom was doing it to protect her, then she's somewhat responsible in some ways.
Right.
And she's what's it called? Running up to the house, and like she knocks on the door, and then obviously Agent Carter answers it, and then invites her in, and then when he closes the door, there's another shot of the devil in the reflection.
I did find it funny. She runs up. I feel like her gun was out, but nobody notices. And honestly, at some point when she walks in, you don't even see the gun, I don't think. But and then it was funny. I didn't notice the devil. I was blind to that shit. But he does close.
Actually, that's funny. That's the most clear one.
Oh, really? He does close the door. I was more concentrated because he closed the door kind of like like an asshole because obviously he's already like being controlled.
Yeah, he's already influenced. I mean, I guess that's what plays into the reason why, like, you know, you said her gun's drawn, but they have no reaction to it.
Right.
It's like because they're like
They
they're
don't
already
care.
like possessed at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think that's the last shot of the devil. I
Okay.
think I missed some, but that's like the most clear. It's so funny. That's the only one I didn't have to adjust screen brightness for, because all the other ones are like kind of shrouded in darkness, and you know it's very easy to miss. But that's like the only one where like he's just kind of standing at the bed of the door after everyone's entered.
I guess I'm
in.
just too pure. I don't see the devil. You know, everywhere.
I'm fighting him every day. That's basically
I'm praging
but yeah,
every day.
there's preaching. What's it called? Yeah, but we noticed like something's very off about the family. Like the dad's very like aggressive, like for no reason. The daughter's just very disassociated. So is the mom. She's just very like overly happy. You know, having two strangers kind of like ish in her house, and just she also like. I don't know if like this is like her like kind of breaking the spell a little bit, but she clears her throat a little bit, like she's trying to like regain something in her head.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying is that they're kind of like what did I say earlier? Yeah, it seems like they have some free will that's just being suppressed.
Yeah,
and like
it
because
like every family had like some sort of like a little bit of like I'm trying to break free.
Yeah,
right?
same with
course,
the dad who
the
called.
last victim.
Yeah,
called in, right?
Yeah,
even though like there's no point, he could have just killed them and
not
called the police.
There definitely is, and I think that kind of leads to the like kind of the idea maybe that the devil doesn't have full control, but like the doll is super helpful in his goals, but it's not like it's not necessarily like the biggest trump card ever. But
right.
But yeah, and it is weird. Well, yeah, there's a few lines that I thought were weird. Well, because he says like wanna come to the kitchen, or well, he says something like I gotta find something to cut the cake with, and she's like, and that's when she's like, or like she doesn't want to go obviously into the kitchen with him because she knows she's gonna die.
Yeah,
but and then
and
then Lee's mom says like she's already dead, which I didn't know if that should be taken literally or not. Which I thought it would be interesting if you do kind of say like maybe after that little tiny outburst, maybe like the devil somehow like almost killed her in her mind, like killed her mind at that point. I don't know. I thought there's some cool interpretations of some of these lines. I guess it could have just been kind of like not technically true, but like she's already dead. Like maybe not everybody's already dead, but they're gonna go back intervene. There. Yeah. There's no intervening on this one.
That's the weird part.
Mine's already made up.
Is that like it's so like you can definitely tell like the husband's gonna kill the wife, but Lee just stands there and doesn't do anything. I get the situation's bad, right? She obviously doesn't want to kill her boss. She doesn't want to kill her mom, right?
Yeah.
You know, she has to keep the girl safe. But it's very weird that she even the father or Agent Carter says like, oh, like we'll both be going to the kitchen, but I'll be the one coming back.
Back. You'll still be there,
right? But like she just like kind of lets it happen.
Yeah.
And even when there's like a few stab noises going on in the kitchen, it's just like she's just letting it happen.
And why not?
That's kind of weird for me.
Why not? As soon as you walk in, go ahead and just shoot the doll in the head. Like,
that's what
what's
I'm
the worst? What's the worst that's happening? Like, oh, sorry, that was a little weird of me. I'm sorry, boss. But like,
yeah, I think she was startled too because it startled me when he's all sit down and it's like a disembodied voice with
it's
his.
a little demonic. Yeah.
I feel like I heard that same-ish voice a couple other times. Now I can't remember who it was, but I almost feel like there's a couple times when voices got a little weird, and it probably was, but like it wasn't as obvious. But yeah, there's definitely like the voice, obviously, the devil speaking through people. For sure. There's a lot of that. I think maybe more than you might even think.
But and then we get a little bit even more backstory about the mom and her process of like actually facilitating the dolls. You get after a certain point it became less about protecting her daughter and just more like she's just converted. It's just,
she kind of
that's what she does.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you have to you almost have to accept like what you're doing. And you're like, well, it's really bad, but also, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad, and then that leads down. The road.
That's like the trap, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm protecting my daughter, but like towards the end, it's just like she's just doing it for doing it. Right? Like, Cobble's dead, right? He has no like control over her, right? So it's just like her being a Satanist, basically.
Yeah,
she made a deal with the devil.
Yeah,
but I thought I don't know. I thought the shots of her like slowly, driving herself into madness was kind of cool, like with her blood on her hands and her covering, you know, like kind of like the Virgin Mary and stuff like that,
Right.
or
Some
her
good
like in the
symbolism.
cemetery talking about the sands of the Hydra and how the beast will come out of the sea, and her like almost like praising the devil, right, with her hands up
Yeah.
and her
Yeah.
face covered in blood. Those shots are really well done, very very creepy, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, in her last line, I mean, maybe jumping ahead, but like she at the end, she doesn't even want to be known as her mom. She's like, "Don't call me that."
Don't call me that. Yeah.
So like that's definitely probably her like you know, that was the last vestiges of her as well leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, and then Agent Carter stumbles out of the kitchen. He's all covered in blood because we know he like stabbed his wife. At that point, Lee wakes up and just like boom boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like she turns to the mom because the mom seems to be pulling something out of her little case there, and it turns out to be a knife. And Lee like shoots another shot. And I don't know, I'm not a gun expert, but obviously like Lee has like a 6-shooter or something like that, right? A revolver. She like puts 2 into her boss, 1 into her mom. And then she obviously knows the doll is the problem. But when she goes to pull the trigger, there's no bullets or misfires.
It clicks, yeah.
Even though there should be at least 1 round or 2 left, right?
If it was fully loaded. Yeah.
Because like I don't know if you can call that like devil intervention. Like obviously the devil's just playing like tricks on her. Like you can't get rid of me. Yeah, exactly. I feel like you could have just slammed that shit on the floor like Annabelle style or what's it called? The Boy style, or you just like fucking power slam that shit through the.
Because Ruby's still under its spell as long as it's sitting there, you know.
Right. And like yeah, that's more to that. Like that's probably where I have like a little bit of a problem with the movie is like just like the open-endedness because it goes from like being like I said, it goes from being like semi-religious undertones, but very grounded serial killer case, right? This is just his pattern, right? He's just into occultism and Satanism up until like there's magic, the devil exists, he's running around, he's psychically controlling these people. These people aren't like being set up or like made to look like they've killed their family. They actually are killing their family due to like some sort of control. And then it ends, right? Well, Nic Cage has his scene. But one of the things that I thought was interesting was that in the credits, there's a fun thing with the credits, but we'll mention that later. But in the credits, there's a character, not a character. There's a actor name for adult Ruby. Like they meant to have like a little like, oh, this happened 10 years after the incident, and Lee reunites with her. But like, according to the director, like it's just been onto the cutting room floor.
Damn.
And what's it called? Osgood Perkins said like, we were gonna do something with that, but better to kind of leave it open ended. And then like the person's like, "All right, is there gonna be like a long like suit of follow up?" He's like, "No."
No, you're right. I think
someone else can handle the project if they want to, but it's not gonna have my name on it.
I think a cut to the future would have given a lot of closure.
Yes.
Right. I think that would have been like because like the doll still exists.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
obviously there must be some
happy.
control.
It can still be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be happy, or it doesn't have to be like, oh, Nic Cage comes back in some way or something like that.
He's a doll.
I will say,
he made himself.
Something I wanted to mention about the gun and whatnot. Didn't we mention Dirty Harry earlier? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Did I shoot 6 shots or 5?
Nice.
But I did notice a little bit of foreshadowing because when she was going through those, maybe it just dropped in there or something. But when she was going through the pictures, when she found LongLegs on her Polaroids in that old box, there was like I don't know if it was a toy or a real 6-shooter in that box.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, that was. I think that was a great detail.
Yeah,
that was a great detail.
So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, like you say though, I never thought of it. I never thought about that. I thought she legit just used up all her bullets, but it could have been like the some sort of devil magic.
Maybe I counted wrong.
Yeah,
maybe I counted wrong.
No,
I feel like
I don't
3
know.
shots into Carter and like 1 shot into her mom.
Like,
right?
There is a certain thing where it's like, okay, one misfires, maybe expected, but 2 in a row like that.
Yeah.
It's like obviously the devil did that. So interesting.
Free house now, guys. Woo!
Sweet.
It's my house now. Property value is very. I forget what the last scene of Nic Cage like. I know he says "Hell Satan," but did he say anything else?
I don't think so.
He just does like kissing thing. He's like
he blows the camera kiss. He's like "Hell Satan."
Mm.
Which was kind of like almost like a lame ending, but like I don't know, it's still Nic Cage, not so bad.
I would have been fine like if there was like a flashback, not flashback, but like a flash forward scene, and then there was like Hell Satan. That would have been fine. We get a little like Nic Cage. Probably the fourth scene he's ever been in this movie.
Right? Yeah, like a grown up
that last
Ruby,
part.
like a grown up Ruby, and then you see I don't know. Then she has like a vision of like of LongLegs saying like Hail Satan or something. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But like there's a credit in the credits for adult Ruby, but
in the backwards credits. I know you said you're gonna get to it, but I have that as a bullet point too. I'm like, credits were backwards. Whoa. What? How'd they do that?
Crazy. What's it called? Any thoughts about the movie before I get into my little theory?
I mean,
about
a theory, Alyssa.
I think one of the theories I had was that LongLegs was actually Lee Harker's dad, but I think it was disproven when the mom was like, "Who are you? Why are you talking to my kid?" But it was just so weird because they were all buddy and roommates.
It was a little bit of a whiplash between like I'm calling the cops on this guy to like, oh, he's okay, to oh, he's also tying me up now all of a sudden.
Actually, do you like peas and carrots?
Yeah. And it's like, so I think that was like my main like problem at first when I first watched it.
You want to know like a funny like hiccup for the movie?
Sure.
Is that you know how Carter says, "Oh, your mom called in a trespass warning," but if you watch the scene again, she never actually gets to the phone. So there's no way she actually calls a trespass on Nic Cage. Little movie hiccup.
I know, yeah.
I thought that was a funny detail.
Maybe you're supposed to think maybe it's off screen, right? Like. I mean, I get that she was about to, and then she didn't. But maybe she did later, or I can't remember how it worked exactly, because it wasn't until like the next day that they actually met, right? So she still might have called, or unless...
She may have called before she went outside. She may have called and then walked out there and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Well, I'm just saying that was at night when I thought she was about to make that call, but then she doesn't. But then
but she doesn't, right? She
I guess she doesn't
say trespass,
at least on screen, right? Because she still didn't know who this guy was the next day. Right? Because that's when he started singing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean though, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Is there there's a lot of whiplash between like who was doing what at when, and why was she like so scared and then not scared and then scared again and made a deal. I think I know what they were going for. You know, and it wasn't bad. Like again, second watch, I think I liked it more. I'm trying to think of any other thoughts I had before we get into theories. I don't even know what kind of theories I have. It was just kind of I thought it was pretty well done, really, with the fact that it's like, oh, why would a mom ever like do that, or why would anybody ever like bring this upon people? And I guess it did a pretty good job of kind of explaining the deal you make, the choosing the Clover. I kind of like that part where it's kind of like it those 2 points connect pretty well for me, and I thought, and yeah, overall I liked it. Second watch was better. I don't know if I'd rate it. I mean, 6.5, maybe even a 7 out of 10, something like that. It was certainly. I thought it was good. It was no Late Night with the Devil. It was a little better maybe than Smile.
Yeah.
That'll be Alyssa's movie.
Dude, yeah.
We'll just watch
Smile
we
could do Smile 1 and Smile 2 or whatever. I guess
guarantee there's not as much like deep like
we'd be
like
sitting here like
in
the next scene someone smiled, I don't know,
and the director said, "I thought that was funny," and
isn't that funny? It was for TikTok. But yeah, I think that's kind of all I have to say. I'm sure I might have to say more, but I'd love to hear your theory. Maybe I'll have something, or me and Alyssa will have something to add.
There's like a ongoing theory amongst the people who've reviewed this that Lee Harker is the Antichrist. Like she's being shaped into it because, like Alyssa said, like, you know, it's very unclear who Lee's father is, right? He's never mentioned, right? Not even like a divorce or he left the family, right? And like LongLegs kind of became, I guess like a surrogate kind of father. Yeah. Although we're not really sure about the relationship or if she even knew,
could be
or if it was like blotted out entirely. The devil not only appears to Lee when she's older, but when she's a kid. There's multiple scenes where he just keeps following her wherever, right? And it also explains why Lee has like inherent psychic powers. Although psychic powers that only relate to the LongLegs case. Yeah, there was the case in the beginning that was unrelated to LongLegs, but it ultimately is what the FBI pretty much says, like, oh, like she was good at predicting this, let's put her on the LongLegs case, right? So all her psychic powers like kind of revolve around the case itself. And then there's the line where LongLegs says, like, don't be afraid of the dark because you are the dark. He says that to, I think, a separate doll,
I
not
thought that was just Ruby's
Lee's
doll.
doll. Yeah, it's not. It's like a separate. I think it might have been Carrie Ann's. I'm not sure. But like it's like he's always like constantly talking to the doll, like mentioning, like the devil wanted a little girl of his own and told her where to look and what to see, like kind of like a little ownership, like that's actually her daughter. But I thought like that was like interesting case, and of course Aqua, you mentioned the very parallel between both of them screaming in the car, the exact same car, would seem like the exact same scene, almost like maybe she was like meant to carry the
torch,
the torch in his stead when he was gone, right? So I thought that was like an interesting, like makes the movie a little bit more fun theory.
The ending makes maybe a little more sense that way. You know, if she will be influenced, maybe she'll take up the doll making.
I mean, all the materials are there, right?
Yeah.
She says, although maybe the police will clear that out when they clear Agent Belmont's body.
I mean, yeah, there's no way she's not like going. I don't know. Like, I guess she already should have been like somewhere, like not in jail, but like she should have been in somewhere that wasn't working a case already, and now with this happening, like, I don't know. I think the FBI says, oh, why do we still have this person on our payroll? I don't care if they're at 50% psychic.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not anymore now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, now you got a bunch
destroyed.
of dead FBI agents in his family and his wife.
right, and the case is kind of still unsolved, right?
Yeah.
Because you still cannot prove that LongLegs did this, or even that the mom was LongLegs, because it's no apparent handwriting to anybody, right?
Well, yeah, well,
so it's like it's still open.
Yeah, well, they have LongLegs. Like, yeah, he wrote these letters, and yeah, maybe the mom brought these dolls over, but they're still still all innocent.
Yeah, because as far as I know, all the fathers just went crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Really physically connect them to like those two people, although they seem very disturbed.
There's no like tangible evidence saying.
Yeah, you can say like, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, really, like if you really did see all these murders happen and they all had the same like doll, basically in each one of them, like I would just throw that doll maker and the person who delivered them in jail. I don't care.
Yeah, something wrong with his doll.
Yeah, this doll maker, this person delivering them, just put them in a prison.
Yeah.
It's kind of what like Agent Belmont says, like when they're watching the VHS tape of the interview. It's like he just worships Satan. As far as I know, in the state of the United States, that's not illegal.
I mean, yeah,
right.
He's
allowed to do that.
This is right.
But
that's a good theory.
Yeah, if I had to like give my, I like it. It made the movie more interesting to me.
Okay.
But yeah, if I had to like give my final thoughts, yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of like the overhypeness because I stayed away from like social media and like things that related like trailers and the phone number on the billboards and things like that. Although I do kind of want to call it again to get the full voice line of Nic Cage singing me "Happy Birthday" as LongLegs.
24 minutes.
Fun. You know what? I'm gonna send it to that that phone number to you guys on your birthdays, so
you
guys can listen to it.
Send it to Amara. Her birthday's on the 14th.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah,
which was the creepy part of one of what we were doing, like the connections kept popping up.
But I just wish there was. I felt like I wanted more, right?
Yeah.
Like if it was gonna stay like a grounded serial killer case, I wanted like more of that. If it was gonna like jump into like just magic and the devil possessing people, I wanted a little bit more of that. So I kind of left me wanting more. Although, like I said in the beginning, beautiful cinematography. I like that. Like there's so much room for background behind characters. Like and it turns out the devil's in some of those shots, but it always makes you like a little bit on edge, without giving you the big jump scare. You're like, wow, why is there so much background shot? Is like someone gonna walk by, or are they gonna get jumped or something? Yeah, Oswald Good, like his family's been in horror, obviously from his dad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the other movies he's done, but he's been really solid with these movies, and from what I've seen in all the interviews, he's very like humble, and like I said, a lot of stuff is like to him like doesn't have to have meaning, just like the T-Rex song. or like the way he named the movie. It just can just be fun for fun's sake, right?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, yeah.
And although like I think in one interview he talks a little shit about Insidious. I'm not gonna.
That's funny. Good for him.
Because before we end, he's like, yeah, like I just make what I love, you know, and you can't tell me the person who made Insidious 5 really loves what they do, although I don't know. And then I was like, oh, a little shade.
Shut up! I love those movies.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, the scares, they're always there. They're very easy. The real thing is trying to make like characters like feel real intense, and to that extent, yeah, like Nic Cage is a very like forceful actor, and I think you really need a good director to like get the best out of him, because there is a certain level of like you got to control him, because he might get into like a crazy weird flow, and like that kind of represents it in some of his B movies, but I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
And also the actors, Maika and Nick.
Yeah, Nick. He's one of the actors. Yeah, especially Nick. Any final thoughts?
No.
That's it from me.
Cool.
That's it for me.
I guess we'll hit the outro. That was fun, guys. Good movie, good Halloween movie. Hopefully this might be out or something near Halloween.
I'll push it.
Okay.
I'll push it.
However it works.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'll hit it then. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to Forget We Said That. I'm Relytan.
I'm Alyssa Riot.
And I'm Legion Lion, at Legion Lion on Twitch, late night. If you guys do listen to the podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever website you're using. It really helps us out. The website will push us a little bit more to the front page if they see we have good ratings. So if you can do that, we really appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Thanks again. Happy Halloween. Bye.